Japan Dyno, the best of Japan to you. Howdy, this is Andy of Japan Dyno, and I have for you a set of Greddy gauges, a boost gauge, Greddy boost gauge, and Greddy water temperature gauge, made by the Trust Greddy company here in Japan. Set of two gauges in good working condition. As you can see, the face of the gauge is very clean and tidy. A few little marks around the outside, around the rims of the gauges, and a little dent. You might be able to see the finger in the photo pointing towards the dent, a dent on the outside rim of the water temperature gauge. So a boost gauge, boost and vacuum gauge, boost gauge and the temperature gauge. Boost gauge, a mechanical type boost gauge. The boost connects directly in back of the gauge itself. The Greddy temperature gauge has a sensor, and we have a full photo here of the set. So it includes a pillar pod, the gauge, so the little pipe here with the sensor, the sensor wire, and the harness, and the water temperature gauge. Boost gauge, some hose there to connect to the back of the boost gauge to then connect to the boost source. Some other hoses that came with the unit there, and the pillar pod unit for both gauges. So pillar pod unit, the two gauges, the boost gauge and the water temperature gauge and the water gauge sensor, the full set by the Trust Greddy company here in Japan. Trust Greddy, a famous tuning and performance company. And the gauges here, again, you can see the small dent in the side of the rim of the gauge there, but the gauge in 100% working condition, good working condition. And at night, the two gauges glow a nice green color, as you can see there. The example here of the Greddy temperature gauge, the water temperature gauge. The other gauge here, nice greeny orange color, so very attractive. The Greddy on the gauge here, Greddy Trust Super Tuning System, aimed at real competitors. Boost gauge and water temperature gauge, made by the Trust Greddy company of Japan, made in Japan, from Japan. Thank you. In order to serve you better, we have our website at www.japandyno.com, as well as our blog, the Japan Dyno Daily Fix, where we feature items of special interest. Look forward to seeing you there.